Hello, beautiful souls. It's Marissa here with Healing with Grace. Today is the new moon in Pisces, and we have just a couple more days left with the Mercury retrograde as Mercury goes direct, I believe, on March 20th. And then we still have a couple weeks of a post-shadow period. So a couple more weeks being a little more cautious with our words, our articulation, any documents, contracts, anything you need to sign. Make sure you're triple checking that. But today I want to talk more about the new moon in Pisces. So we just had the full moon in Virgo a couple weeks ago. And with that, things that might have been coming up are ideals of perfectionism, maybe comparison, overanalyzing things, getting really into the mind, especially with this Mercury retrograde. Mercury rules the mind, and Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Now, you don't need to be a Gemini or a Virgo to be affected by this, but if you are, you might have been feeling that energy amplified even more so. But it rules the mind, and what that means is maybe you may have been experiencing more analysis paralysis, more, like I said before, perfectionism, comparison to others, comparison to where you think you should have been and where you're not. So, for example, maybe you're at a certain age and you thought you would have accomplished a certain thing or certain things by this point, and you haven't. So you could be extra critical of yourself. So really, now that we're stepping into this new moon in Pisces, it's a time of releasing that perfectionist ideals, releasing the critical thinking, releasing the comparison to yourself and to others, and really now focusing on building what you want to manifest. So if you were thinking, I wish I would have been here by this point, it's a matter of not thinking of the lack, but thinking of having that reality. So if you were to have had that reality, how do you think you would feel? And try to embody that feeling. When we're talking about manifestation, we're not just thinking about affirming the words and saying, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am abundant, I am happy. It's more a matter of what that feeling would feel like. So really trying to tap into that feeling and feeling it fully and feeling gratitude, how grateful you would feel. Have you ever had an experience where you've accomplished something and you're overwhelmed with gratitude that it brings you to tears? That's the kind of feeling you need to embody to bring these manifestations to fruition. So with this new moon in Pisces, now with this new moon phase, while the moon is waxing and building back up, you want to really be thinking about what you want to embody, how you want to feel in that embodiment, and bringing that to fruition through feeling. And that's really the manifestation work. So today I wanted to pull a couple cards for the collective on what you need to know with this new moon in Pisces. So I've already pre-shuffled the cards. The deck we're using today is the Light Seers Tarot. So universe, guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestors, star family, 5D family of the collective. What would you like the collective to know about this new moon in Pisces? What do they need to know? Releasing anxiety. I think breath work is going to be really important for the collective. Whatever that looks like for you, look up. There's so many free resources nowadays on YouTube, on other platforms. Look up something that would help you regulate yourself. Whether that's some sort of grounding, breath work. Oh my gosh, cards are flying and they're getting wet. Just a sec, I gotta pick this up. Okay, so 2 cards came out, and it's interesting because this card was actually on the bottom of the deck, I noticed, just before I started shuffling. So the 3 of Pentacles. We have been getting this card a lot lately. Literally got it probably 3 or 4 times in the last couple readings I've done. So this is very, very relevant. Collaboration, not just with others, but with your 5D family. Going within more so that you can actually receive the downloads to understand, okay, what direction should I be going on? What things should I be focusing on? Where should I be putting my energy? And then being open to the messages and the signs that come in of maybe a collaboration with someone, maybe a connection, maybe through networking, whatever that looks like. It's going to be very different for every person, but trusting that we don't do everything on our own. Yes, it takes us to enact things, but we have to be open to receiving versus saying, I can do everything all by myself. Well, if you're acting like that, then it's going to be an energetic drain, and you might be missing opportunities that are coming in that can actually bring you amazing, amazing opportunities. So being open and receptive to what may come in for you. It doesn't mean you have to like dim your leadership. If you're an independent person and you thrive on working on your own, that's fine, but still being open to connections, open to signs, open to things that could be coming in that can really help you move forward. The other card that flew out on the ground here was the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups. So this might be really calling to you in terms of tapping into your intuition. We were talking about that, going within, tapping into your intuition, tapping into the guidance. It's really hand in hand with this, to be honest, because you're tapping into the energy of your 5D family, into the divine, into your higher self, connecting with the universe, with oneness. So the Queen of Cups is very intuitive. She's very embodied. And you don't have to be a female to connect with the Queen of Cups. I'm just talking about, the Queen of Cups energy, so that you could be masculine or feminine. The Queen of Cups is very, very connected to oneness, to intuition. She's not looking for external validation outside of herself. The Queen of Cups is going within and understanding what her true purpose is, what the Queen of Cups' true purpose is, through connecting to the divine. Let's see what other messages come through here. Woo! I'm shuffling these on a plate right now so that, here, I'll show you, so that I don't lose them on the ground, because it's almost spring. We have like 2 more days before the spring equinox here where I live. I live in Canada. And the snow is kind of melting, and it's just messy. And there's like lots of deer poop everywhere as well. I've got a lot of deer in my yard. Anyways, back to the cards. Anything else? Any advice for the collective with this new moon in Pisces? Any advice? Ooh. Almost dropped the whole deck as I talked about deer poop everywhere. Oh gosh. It's a dog that's barking in the background. I think it's about not getting distracted, keeping your focus again with the Queen of Wands, Queen of Wands. I saw the Queen of Wands while I was shuffling, that's why I said that, but with the Queen of Cups, it's not getting distracted by outside. Oh my gosh, seriously. And the Queen of Wands just pops out. Okay, that's amazing. But not getting distracted, what I was talking about with this, okay, I just lost a card. Not getting distracted by outside influences that could derail you from your true intuition, from your true connection to the divine and your higher self. So back to this Queen of Wands, and then I'm going to pick up that card that flew over there. Back to this Queen of Wands energy. The Queen of Wands is so confident and embodied, and she might not have always been confident, but it's like that saying of, you don't need to see it to believe it. You believe it, then you see it. What does that feeling of confidence mean? Not just saying I'm confident, I'm embodied, but what would that feel like to be confident, to feel powerful, to feel inspirational? What would that feel like? The Queen of Wands believes in her passion because she feels it first, and then she sees the fruition of that. So again, we were talking a lot about that Pisces energy, about building the manifestations through feeling. So the Queen of Wands doesn't care what other people think. The Queen of Wands is very connected to her sensuality, to her power. I'm seeing a lot of like yellow in here, like solar plexus energy. So belief, confidence, power, boundaries being super important so that you're not draining your energy by like trying to appease everybody else. Queen of Wands doesn't care what people think. She holds her boundaries strong. Let's get, actually, I want to see what's on the bottom of this deck before we move forward here. 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups, that is so fitting, honestly, like connection with your higher self, connection with the divine, connection with oneness, connection with self-love, self-realization, believing in yourself, filling your own cup, balancing things out, balancing giving and receiving. Oh, this is like such a fitting energy. Underneath of that was actually the strength. I want to stop because it's going to be a longer reading, but having the strength, the discernment, literally got this card when I did the reading, my last reading, as well. So grace, compassion, inner strength, autonomy, believing in yourself. All right, angels, do you have a message to close this reading for the collective? $15.15, intuition. Oh my gosh, so fitting, so fitting. Call this if this is connecting to you. Claim it. We literally, intuition with the Queen of Wands? Like, seriously? What better of a card could we have received from the universe? I'm going to read this to you. So 1515, intuition, relating, value, insight, increased perception, love, monogamy. We got love with, this is so hard to connect these cards here on this plate without dropping them on the ground. Love. Monogamy. Follow your gut. It's more than just a feeling. Be real with people and focus on meaningful relationships. Remember, you also must bring value to the table. Treat others with respect or karma will bite you in the ass. 3 is a crowd. And we had that 3 of Pentacles. The card flew over there, so I can't go pick it up right now. But 3 of Pentacles is like focusing on meaningful relationships. So it's about quality, not quantity. What relationships really matter? What are important to you? You know, maybe cleaning up your contacts. What people drain your energy? What people fill your cup? What relationships are reciprocal? Which ones aren't? I think it's a matter of like having quality of relationships over quantity. And yeah, 3 is a crowd. So are there any situationships in your life? Are you trying to, again, with that 2 of Cups, it doesn't have to be a love reading, but with the 2 of Cups, you know, are you trying to bring in healthy relationships, whether platonic or romantic? Because if you are, and you're still hanging on to old energies, 3 is a crowd. Having your energy in the pot with a bunch of different people and wanting to bring in true love or true relationships, it's going to be very diluted. It's not going to be allowing that true connection to come in. So 3 is a crowd. What do you need to clip out of your life? What do you need to cut out of your life? Maybe that's some cord cutting. And really, with cord cutting, you want to be careful. You want to be careful that you're not cutting a person out without actually digging down of like, hey, why did this relationship come into my life? What's the unmet need within my inner child and inner adolescent for the reasons of why they're coming in? And dealing with that. And once you've been able to kind of unearth that, have more awareness with that, then maybe cutting the cord, clipping that out, not viewing their stories anymore, maybe not following them on social media, maybe not texting them, clipping that energy out so that you can actually allow in what needs to come in so you can have real love in your life. But one more message and then I'm going to end this reading here. Angels, do you have one more message for the collective today? We have 1212. Big ventures, divine intervention, prosperity, big ventures, fated events, and faith. Love or other happiness lurks just around the corner. It'll be something much better than in your wildest dreams. A rare opportunity, an exciting encounter with like-minded people will exceed your expectations. That's very fitting with that 2 of Cups. And I'd love to show you all these cards, but because I have it on a plate here, I'm probably going to lose it. But love or other happiness lurks just around the corner. It's better than your wildest dreams. So we're talking about this manifestation, the feeling, embodying what you want. So if it's love that you want, what feeling would you want to feel in a relationship? I know I certainly don't want to feel anxious or worried or wondering what's happening. I want security, clarity, peace, fun, excitement, joy, passion. Like, what do you want to feel in a healthy, loving relationship? And then also a rare opportunity, an exciting encounter with like-minded people will exceed your expectation. That's very hand in hand with that Three of Pentacles card that we've been getting a lot of lately. So being open, using your discernment, holding your boundaries, but being open to people coming into your life, to messages coming in from the divine, using that Queen of Cups energy to be meditating, to clear out energies that are toxic, that are draining, and using this period of this new moon in Pisces to really think about, what do I want my life to be? Okay, what would that feel like for me? Journal about it, write it down, get specific. Think of times in your life when you've had certain feelings, or can you imagine what that would feel like? Use that Pisces energy of imagination and fantasy to really embody that feeling of what that would feel like, and feel it fully and have full gratitude for it. We're going to wrap this reading up now. And yeah, sending you so much love and light. Take care.